Good morning, guys. It is day 36 on Flipping Live. It is Sunday morning. What is it? June 7th, 2020. My name is Andrew from 510 Books. Today, I wanted to talk about little free libraries and how resellers should deal with those. Just some ideas about them and about the whole program and that type of thing. So let's get started.
Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're gonna strive, we're here to learn and gonna earn. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, we're flippin' live.
Awesome. Good morning again to anybody watching. Michael is here. Great topic. I have too many duds. I've been unloading them at Second and Charles, but I definitely will look into these as well. Yeah, Brenda. Hi, Brenda. How you doing? Good morning. It's funny because I get idea, after I finished a live stream, a lot of times I can't think in the moment or right away about what I'm going to talk about, or if I'm going to pick a topic for the live stream, what it's going to be about. And sometimes I just stumble upon these themes or ideas for general ideas for the live stream for Flippin' Live. And yesterday was one of those situations where we, after the live stream, well, not right after, but later on, we, the family, we drove, what did we do? Oh, right. My son, he is finishing preschool. He's turning 5 next week in 3 days on Wednesday, June 10th. He's turning 5, and so we'll be celebrating, but he's finished preschool and he's going to start kindergarten in whatever new way school will be starting during coronavirus. But anyway, that's another topic. And so anyway, he's graduating. So we went there. We went and bought some flowers, and he made a card and some cookies and whatnot that he gave to his teacher, as a going away present, a thank you and whatnot. And they had the way they had set it up is you drive into the parking lot, and you go in one gate, and then it kind of loops around. You come out the other, and it's set up where there is the preschool is completely separate. It doesn't matter, but anyway, there's a preschool, and they were in the parking lot, all of the teachers and the staff. And because of coronavirus, because of social distancing and all of that, we stayed in our car, and everyone else stayed in their cars. And we literally it's like a parade, like a car parade. We drove in and waving through the window. Well, I mean, we had the windows down, but waving and chatting through the windows. And anyway, so we went around and said goodbye to the teachers and whatnot. He's going to do a Zoom on Tuesday. So anyway, after that, or before we arrived, we were driving through the neighborhood, and I saw a little free library. And my wife has been walking a lot during quarantine. She'll go in the morning. Actually, a lot of times when I'm doing the live stream, she'll walk for like 50 minutes to an hour. And so she's been all over the place, all over the city. And she's seen like 4 or 5 different little libraries. Little free libraries is what they're called. Little free libraries. And so anyway, so I saw it yesterday, and I had, when I saw it, it popped into my head because I had, I don't currently have, but I had 4 boxes of books in my trunk, the trunk of my car. And I had been intending on donating those to a lady who started a little free library, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And it has grown. She has allowed it to grow to where she puts out several tables in the front of her, or next to the little free library in front of her house. And she fills those with books, and she's got 2 tables. She's got this thing where she clips them, the little, like the thinner kids books, clips them to this I don't know. I think it's for like to grow vegetables or something. But anyway, it's a metal stand, and then in her garage, she has put up bookshelves, and she's got a whole wall full of books, and then a whole another wall of like boxes of books. And so anyway, so I was gonna, she sort of become like the local library, the local place that a lot of people go to find books. People donate books to her on a weekly basis. So I was gonna donate a bunch, but then I saw the Little Free Library and I thought, well, why don't I go around and see how many I can find, and just donate all of the books that I have in my trunk to a variety of different libraries instead of all to just her, which is fine. I can still do that, donate to her, but just to spread it around. So I took my daughter, and she begrudgingly went with me, my 7-year-old, and I went around. I went to that first one, and it's funny when I went up there, where we walked up, so parked. I grabbed a box of books. We walked across the street. Opened it up. Usually the traditional ones are little like bird houses. They have instructions online how to build them, or you can actually buy them pre-built, and they sit on top of a long wooden post, and then they look pretty cool, right? They look like little houses. I guess they originally were supposed to look like little schoolhouses, and so they have a clear glass or plastic window that you just open. It's on hinges. The door's on hinges. You open it up, and you can put some books in there. Now, depending on the size of the books, you can maybe fit. If there's kids' books, you can fit a lot more, but just normal books, maybe like, I don't know, 30 books or something. You can't fit a ton, but you can put some. But anyway, so I started pulling books out. They had a bunch of kids' books. I pulled them out, put them on the sidewalk so she could look through them. And then the front door of the house where the library is placed opens, and two ladies go, "Thank you," or something like that. I guess because of social distancing, they're not coming out. But so it's just funny, like the first place we went, that was actually the only place where I talked to anybody. I don't know if anybody was home at the end of the other ones, but so we found a couple books, and then I left a bunch of books there as well in the Little Free Library. So okay, Aaron. Hey guys, good morning. So we ended up yesterday, daughter and I, we went to that one. The second one I went to, it's okay, because I looked it up on Nextdoor, the app Nextdoor. People post this kind of stuff on there all the time. So I found a thread that someone had asked about where there were any Little Free Libraries, and tons of people answered, telling them where they were. And this one woman rattled off like 4 different addresses. She knows it very well. And so I went to all of those. The first one I went to, though, the person they had it shut off, I guess because of, the virus and whatnot. But after that, I went to 4. There were 3 on one street, the same street, which was funny. Anyway, so then we went to 4. What else? How many did we go to? Then we went to the other one was 5. So I ended up going to 6 different Little Free Libraries. The last one being a church. I knew that one was there from before. I had actually been to a garage sale that they had at that church, yard sale, whatever, probably, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And I had seen that Little Free Library. And they have one, so that normally they're pretty small. They look like little birdhouses or whatever, schoolhouses. This one was much wider, and it had 2 big doors that opened, 3 shelves. So you could fit, you could fit like 100 books in there, a lot of books. They have a sign out there. They had plastic bags, like grocery bags. So if you wanted to, grab a bunch, they had hand sanitizer. They even had a sign, because apparently they get so many people leaving books. They said, please do not leave your books, in front of the library. Like there's a pathway. So please don't leave them there, because then they get wet from the sprinklers. So apparently people have been leaving them, so many anyway, that they had to make a sign about it. So anyway, that's a long-winded story about how I got the idea to make this video about that. And so the books that I was leaving were books that were from the donations I had received in the past month. And these were books that, I didn't want to sell locally and couldn't make any money individually. A lot of it was fiction. There was also a good amount of nonfiction too, just random topics. So I left all of those sprinkled among, what was it, six different little free libraries. Most of the little free libraries looked similar, except for that last one, which was much bigger and that type of thing. So I wanted to show you, I found this post about how to build a little free library, but I wanted to show the different types because there's some really cool ones before I launch into talking about it for resellers. Feel free to chat, guys, ask questions. Terry says, I found a book about how to build and market these things. Oh, yeah. So basically, this was started. I didn't realize that this whole little free libraries movement was started just in 2009. The guy's name was Todd Boll, B-O-L, and he started this he built a replica schoolhouse, miniature replica schoolhouse, which is what these kind of look like. And then he stuck it on a wooden post in front of his house, stuck books in there. And I guess, the kind of the theme is take a book, leave a book, right? And so he did that, and that, I guess, was really popular. And from there grew the idea. And he partnered with somebody else, and together they were able to grow it. And by like 2012, I think there were several thousand across the country. So as of 2020, this is according to their website, as of 2020, there are over 100,000 little free libraries in over 100 countries, which is crazy. It's not just the United States. So this is happening in other countries as well. So that's crazy when you think about it. And on their website, they have it's a nonprofit, became a nonprofit organization, and they have a map where you can. I haven't used the map, but where you can find ones that are registered. So when you get one, you're supposed to ideally register it so it shows up on the map, and they each have like a number or whatever. But anyway, so that guy, he created it in 2009, so pretty recently, only 11-ish years ago that it started, but it's grown so much, and now people are creating all different kinds of bigger ones, different types of original idea or designs, so not just the typical one. And you can also either buy one pre-built, or there's plenty of videos on YouTube or blog posts where you can learn about how to just build one if you want to. And I'm sure there's plenty of ones where you can build different types, or tutorials to build different types of little free libraries. Michael says, with COVID, I've seen a few people on Facebook and newspapers, I guess, who have started a service where they take book donations and redistribute them to those stuck in hospitals. Good people to give duds to. Yeah, absolutely. These are all good ideas. Books are great, a great way, and you can utilize your duds to meet people and to help people out with those books. Because again, duds are essentially books that for those that don't know, whether you're here watching live or in the future, for books resellers, duds are books that you can't make money off of individually. Now you may be able to place them in some sort of lot on eBay, or even locally put them in a lot and post that on Facebook Marketplace or any of the local apps, OfferUp or whatever, and then you might be able to sell those. But typically a lot of this would be like popular fiction or popular nonfiction, or just stuff that might be outdated or whatever. So that's a good idea. The ones that I saw, they were all look kind of the same, but I wanted to show this post that I found. Look at this one. This one's really cool. It's a file cabinet that they repurposed to make into a little free library. So I guess you just open the cabinet drawers and you're going to find some books in there. That's pretty cool. I thought that was a good idea. It's not that attractive, but it's a good use of space and repurposing, and you can fit a lot of books in there, I'm sure. There's this one, which is not very big, but that's cool, I guess, for like newspapers. Vintage cabinet, I guess. I mean, look at this one. That Looks like a schoolhouse. Although I don't know how you can get books in and out of there. But that's, yeah. Oh, okay. Through the back. There's that one. Look at this one. They used a refrigerator. It's not very. I mean, it's not very cute, but it gets the job done. You can fit more books, and I think the idea. I mean, if I were to ever do one, I'd probably want one to be a little bit bigger so I could put more books out there than what that would fit. This one I really like um, because of the park bench. That's a really cool idea, is to attach a park bench or to have one nearby so that people can actually sit and look through the books and that type of thing. So that's a great idea. I saw there was one that I went to yesterday that did have a little bench next to it. And this one is a little bit wider. That's cool looking. I guess it just opens down. The hinges are there on the bottom. That one's more of a classic one. This one's great. Look at this one. Red Firehouse. I really like that one. It's got a bell on it. I don't know why. But that you can fit a lot of books in there clearly. Got a park bench. There's that one. This one is really cool. A newspaper stand or vending machine, I guess. Remember those? That's a good idea. This is a telephone booth. Old school one though, I guess from England or something like that. What do they say? Old phone booth, yeah. And I mean, imagine how many books you can fit in there. Several hundred, I'm sure. That's a great idea. If you can manage to find an old phone booth. Oh, this is cool. Darth Vader. So there's all different types. Oh, well, that was it. Um, I just looked at the website that shows all over libraries. Can you source books from these things? So that's what I'm going to dive into now. So yeah, you can absolutely. I mean, there's no rules. There's no rule. These are essentially there's no difference between. I mean, this is an organized way of people trying to distribute books for free to um, I think it's twofold, right? To just give people more access to books, um, you know, so this help people read more, literacy, that kind of thing. Also, I think it's for building community, because I was reading a couple articles and it was saying that, wow, since I put out this little free library in front of my house, I've met my neighbors who I never spoke to before. This older guy in the 70s said some 9-year-old kid knocked on his front door and said, "Hey, I really like your little free library." Just it gets you to interact. I mean, now during COVID, it's not, we can't interact as much, but once we're past that, and pre-virus, it's a way to build community and that type of thing. But yeah, it's the same thing as someone leaving a box of books out on the on the sidewalk or in front of their house. It's really no different. It's just that it's in a cool little container and it's called Little Free Library and that type of thing. And it's encouraged to not only take a book but to leave a book or multiple books. So I always I leave way more books than I take, but absolutely you can source from there. I mean, it's the same thing. If someone is selling books and you buy it, you pay it for what they're asking, you can resell it. Like at a thrift store or a yard sale. If someone's giving books away, yeah, absolutely. There's no rules against it. The only thing that I would say is to leave books. Don't come empty-handed. Come with some books to leave. You don't have to. It's not the law or anything, but you can just take books. But I feel better about leaving books and leaving more books than I took if I take any. And even if I don't take any, I'll leave books. That's my thought. And I think I enjoyed it so much yesterday that with my daughter. I mean, I could do it by myself, but it was much more enjoyable with her. And then I could bring my son and do it. There's books that we brought home, like 10 books for the kids, and so. Excuse me. So it's great. Like we read one of those last night. I read one of those last night to the kids. So it's great in that way. But absolutely, Hold on, let me move this over here. Absolutely, you can source there. So what I did yesterday, here I'll show you. I had 4 boxes of books, and so I went and I ended up distributing all of them. There were some books that I have one box that has some books left that I figured I don't know if anybody wants those, so I might just end up recycling those. Just kind of books that I don't think are going to be read. But anyway, I gave away or distributed most of them. So here is, before I dive into what he was talking about, some of the benefits of these. So first of all, books are free, right? You can go and get books for free, period. So the benefit to resellers, right? They're free. You can leave books or duds instead of recycling or trashing them. So this is a great way because there are so many, and I went to 6 of them, and I know there's a lot more in the area. I could probably find double that, if not more, if I do more searching online and that type of thing. So it's a great way, like Michael was saying, to just get rid of duds instead of having to recycle them or just throw them away, or just give them to a thrift store, which is fine. But this is a good way to be able to, while you're getting rid of your duds, also finding new books for yourself as a reseller to resell, but also as a book reader. Also, it's a way to meet people. So it's a great way to build relationships as a bookseller with people that own or that run. They call them stewards, by the way. The stewards of the Little Free Libraries, people that actually officially register them and designated a Little Free Library. They're called stewards. So it's a good way to build the relationship with them. If they're home, of course, they might not be home, but chances are if you're going to them or a variety of Little Free Libraries, even on a monthly basis, that you're probably going to bump into people. And you can tell them that you're a bookseller and that you always have extra books to distribute and you love to find new books and that type of stuff. And you would be surprised, like the lady, this is how I found out about the lady who, retired woman who lives in my city, who has the Little Free Library in front of her house and has a huge collection of books now. She's the anomaly, right? She's the exception to the rule, I'm sure. But because she's retired, because she's at home, she takes care of her husband, so she doesn't go out very much. She's built this massive resource. Now, she's the one who I've gotten books from, like those Agatha Christie collection that I sold on eBay. There was another collection that I sold on eBay. So I've gotten valuable books from her. And so because I built that relationship. So now, I'm not saying that you're going to find very many Little Free Libraries that expanded into their garage, but I'm willing to bet that you can build relationships with people who get maybe extra books that they can't fit in there. And you can always tell them, you can say, yeah, if you have too many books, I'm more than happy to take them off your hands. Let me know, whatever. I'll always bring more books. Just make it positive. Don't make it about, yeah, I'm trying to make money, so can you help me make more money? Hey, Brian, good morning. We're talking about Little Free Libraries. Terry asked, do they contain mostly kids' books, or is there a good mixture? I found for the 6 that I went to, there was a good mixture. Actually, the first one had a mixture of adult books for adults and then kids' books. It was like half and half. Some only had books for adults. None of them had only kids' books. So I would say that it's, in general, out of the 6, they were a good mix, with a few only having kids, or only having not having any kids' books. Now, the books vary as to what they are. Some of the selection, the first one I went to had a much nicer selection and some better condition books, more interesting topics, current topics for nonfiction books. But and another one I went to had older books, which doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, but had older books, a little more worn out, that type of stuff. So I guess it's just going to vary, kind of like if you go to a thrift store, you gotta find the good Little Free Libraries. But I did actually find some books for I don't have my phone for resale, and I'll show you them in a second. But I was able to get a good amount together. The last place I went to, that the Little Free Library in the church had a lot of a big selection. So they had a lot of different types of books. They had a lot of kids books, and they had fiction books, and they had nonfiction on a lot of different topics. Um, yeah, well, I should go get my phone, but I'm sure I see no problem with sourcing books as a book reseller from little free libraries, as long as I highly recommend, as long as you are leaving books. I think you should go with more books to leave than you're going to take, just because it's a good thing for the general cause of distributing books to people. And I think it's just better as a reseller, that if you start meeting people who are running the stewards, and they ask you questions or whatever, and that you shouldn't be worried about being a reseller, a bookseller, I guess is what you should probably phrase it. You should always have your books there to leave and say, oh yeah, I love these, because I always find great books, and then I leave a lot of books because because I'm a bookseller, and I come across, I'm always having more books than I can sell, or et cetera, however you want to phrase it. And just be honest, right? Just say I love this, to leave books, and because I'm a bookseller and all that type of stuff. So I don't think you should feel bad, or like there's anything wrong with taking books to resell, because it's the same thing as a thrift store. I mean, you've probably come across people with this perspective, or have read about it online in Facebook groups, reselling groups, or in YouTube comments or whatever, about people from thrift stores that work at thrift stores or volunteer, and say, oh, you shouldn't resell these books. These are for people who can't afford books. That's why they're so inexpensive. How dare you? When it's ridiculous, right? They have the books for sale to the general public. Once you buy the book, you can do whatever you want with it. You can read it, you can rip it up, you can give it to the dog, you can resell it, you can bury it in your yard, you can do whatever you want, right? Legally with the book. So who cares what you end up doing with it? And I feel, as a reseller, as long as you're, for the little free libraries, as long as you're supplying them with extra books, packing them with books. That's what I did with all these books. I ended up, filling up a lot of these little free libraries that had a lot of space in them. So, you're doing a good thing. I found books for my kids. I found books to resell. I also found a few books that I think I could put up for sale at my local sale. It's all like it all works in amongst each other. If all these little free libraries, if more resellers supplied them, they would never run out of books. Think about it. Yeah, always have duds, right? So why not, instead of just dropping them at the thrift store? And if you drop them at the thrift store, you're going to end up seeing those books again anyway, if it's a thrift store you go to as a reseller. So why not just distribute them amongst little free libraries and get them into people's hands? Yeah. So always just bring some with you. This is the first time that I've ever done like a sweep of a lot of little free libraries, but because I'm getting, I got so many book donations that I just had a lot of books left over, and I still will. This last donation that I got on Friday morning, where I was able to find a lot of quality books, profitable books that I sent out to FBA on Friday. I still have all of those to go through to decide whether I'm going to keep any of those for local sale or try to sell them in eBay lots. And I'm guaranteeing you, a lot of those I'm going to have left over that they're not going to be able to go to either of those options. So I'm just going to end up donating those. So I'm probably going to make another run at some point. I'll just find other free libraries that I didn't go through that first time and drop them off, and might visit that lady too, who has all of those books in her garage. So, so definitely, I'm going to be buying in 2 weeks storage unit of books for a couple $100. It's going to be thousands of books. So guaranteed that I will have plenty of duds in there. Brian says, have you come across these by chance? Okay, so my little free library. Let me let me go to their site. So they're supposed to have, here it is, a map. How does this work? Oh, you can do it by zip code. So, oh, here. So I did it by zip code in my area. Let me pick a different, I don't even know. I'm gonna make one. How about I do it by city? Here, I'll do it by city. Okay, this is not helping. So let me do, here, I'll do this. Sorry, let me switch that over so I can show you. So if you go to, this is littlefreelibrary.org, and then they have the Little Free Library world map. So I just put San Diego, so that was a little bit too big, I'm sure, because San Diego's a big place. But holy crap, look at all these. So these are ones that are registered. Apparently there's people that don't register them. Maybe they don't know about it. I don't know. But yeah, I guess you can just click on them and then okay, so they have numbers, right? So charter number 7592. Oh, geez. Okay, I see. Oh, and you can write a little something on there. Yeah. So this is one way to do it. Yeah, Terry says there's 3 within my local area. Oh, I know. So Brian, you can go to the website and look it up on their map. But I mean, I looked it up in my local area, and there was only 3 that showed up, even though I went to 6 yesterday. So clearly, a lot of people don't register them with Little Free Libraries. Apparently, it cost $40 to register yours. So I don't know if that's the hurdle for people, or maybe they just don't know about it. I'm not sure. But when you register it, you apparently get a number. And then it's searchable, so people can just go here and search for it. And even I popped it up on Google Maps, and I found, that's how I found one of them was on Google Maps. So apparently you can set that up as well. But I would go to Nextdoor, the app Nextdoor, or the website. If you go there and for your local area, if you're part of that, and you type in Little Free Library, I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee it, but I feel pretty confident to say that there's going to be some posts about people asking where there are some. And I bet you if you even just ask on there, you say, just ask, you say, I'm looking for Little Free Libraries in the area. Do you know of any? I'm sure people will respond. And once you figure out where they are, then you can know and you can use them regularly. I figure I could maybe make a run once a month or so, because you probably need to give it enough time. I don't know how often these Little Free Libraries are actually visited. I know the woman in my area who has the Little Free Library and then has all the other books in her garage. She's getting people all the time coming by, according to her. And she opens up her garage. She basically has her garage open all day because people come by. But I don't know about the smaller ones, how often they're turning over their books. Also, it depends on the stewards or the people that are running them and how often they are adding new books or getting rid of books that have been sitting there for a while and no one's taken them. So I guess it just depends, right? You got to kind of figure that out. Terry said, it's amazing how some thrift stores and even some library sales absolutely hate the idea of resellers are making a profit. Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, I guess I get it logically, but then I don't get it. I hate you making money off of these books that we're trying to almost give away. But on the other hand, I've heard multiple times from library book sale volunteers that, oh, you know what, I'm so thankful for all the resellers, because if it wasn't for you guys, we would not be able to hold these sales because we would not sell enough books to the general community. So, it can go both ways, right? Some people might complain. I haven't really heard that, though, in person. I've read about it from other, like you're saying, right, from other people who have had this experience, but I haven't experienced it in person at a library sale that somebody has said, "How, gosh, you guys are making money off these books, you know? When it's so weird because they get them for free and they turn around and make money off of them. So, you know, how is it different? We're paying for them, even though they're 50 cents a dollar, $2, $3, and then we're making money off of them, just like they are. Well, they're a nonprofit. So what? They're still making money, right? So to me, it's ridiculous, but whatever. But yeah, a lot of the libraries in my experience are thankful. They're like, wow, yeah, you know, if you guys weren't here, we wouldn't make much money. I mean, resellers, you know, I'll go to a library sale and I'll drop 30, 40, $50. I've as much as $70 that I've spent at a library sale. Whereas, you know, a local reader will come by and spend maybe $5, which is fine, right? If they can get enough of those people, but a lot of times they can't. I know this one in particular was saying, yeah, you know, we're not getting as many people. This was before COVID-19. And they're saying, well, gee, you know, we're so glad for the resellers, because if you guys didn't come, then we would hardly sell any books. So I don't know why that is. Maybe they're not getting the word out enough. They probably are not that great at marketing. I know that one in particular, if you are a member, what do you call it? Member of the library, friends of the library, it's like $5 a year or something ridiculously low. They'll send you a postcard. So I know they send a postcard. That's great. But how do they get out there to other people to market themselves, right? They should be advertising. But anyway, so it's, you know, because of us largely that a lot of these places stay in business. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I left. I mean, I left at least like, how many books did I leave? I don't know, 75 books or something, like a ridiculous amount. And I took like 10 kids books and maybe like 3 for my local sale, and then I have these 7 that I'm going to resell on Amazon. Um, Give me 1 second. Let me grab my phone. I just wanted to show you the books that I found was surprisingly profitable, and I only went to 6 little free libraries. I mean, I'm sure I could, like I said, I could find another 6 or 7 easily where I live. I mean, Terry found 3. I'm sure, Brian, you live in Illinois. I'm sure you could find plenty in your area. And I don't think this should be something that you should do all the time, just because, like I said, there's probably not going to be a lot of new books every week. Maybe this would be something you could do once a month. You know, just do a sweep of all of them, bring your duds, drop them off, that type of thing. Because if you're looking for I mean, beyond just it being a way to get rid of duds, if you're looking for books to resell, they're probably not going to be like turning over every week a bunch of new books. But some places, some little free libraries might be more popular than others. So you just kind of have to get to know them, basically. Oh, what? Oh, so clearly that one was not one. Anyway, so these are the ones here. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, I'll just do it like this. Alibis, essays on elsewhere. Alibis, it's alibis. What am I saying? Oh, let me show you my screen. Let me turn down. Oops. So there's this one. That's a nice one. This is a low profit one, but this is one that I definitely sell all day if I got donated to me or found for free. Let's see. Here's a nice one. This is a fiction book. See, when I saw this, I thought it looked really nice. I thought, oh, that looks In the Night of Memory. It's in excellent condition. It just looks it looks cool. I don't know. And this is from, oh, it's actually from 2004. So they clearly kept excellent condition, kept it in excellent condition. Um, this one is not selling, like, it's not selling crazy amount, 26 sales in the last 6 months, but that's a nice clip. There's only 3 FBA offers, 19 merchant fulfilled. So there's not a ton of offers on there. And the potential profit, the lowest FBA is about $5. So that's nice. This is a nice book, though. I'd sell this in my local sale too. Um, there's this one. So then I found these that were specific to teaching, or yeah. So these are like explaining reading, the learner directed classroom, the learning brain. So these were all related to each other. So maybe some teacher or something left them. This is explaining reading. Sorry, I'm reading the comments here. Let me show you this one, and then, well, let me show you all the books, and then I'll get back to it. So this one is really nice. 34 sales count. The lowest offer, FBA offer, is $24.80, which is a profit of $14. And even had the merchant fulfilled a pretty high price there, $12. So that's a very nice find. The learner directed classroom. See, when I saw these sitting on the shelf, I thought, oh, those could be worth something. Here's another one. Very good book, right? This is a 20. I can probably list it for close to $30, $28, $29. Very profitable. Here's the learning brain. Here's another one. Profitable book. There's a little bit too many merchant fulfilled offers for my liking, but I'll still send it in. It should sell. And then this one was the find of the day, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So this one is called The Defining Decade: Why Your 20s Matter and How to Make the Most of Them Now. And this one is, look at this one. So 86 sales in the last 6 months, 154,000 ranked. What do you think the price is? What is your guess? Let's play a game. And don't look it up. So it's 154 current rank, 1,000 rank, 126,000 rolling rank though, average rank. So you know it's selling like crazy. 23 merchant fulfilled offers, only 2 used FBA offers. Amazon is not on the listing. I'll show you here. If you guessed $31, you're right. But yeah, the FBA offers, look at that, 46. There's a huge gap, 46 between 79. So I don't know. But anyway, so I found this for free in one of the libraries. So yes, there are valuable books in libraries. I'm sorry, little free libraries. So you figure, I don't know what the total is on all these. What is that one? I mean, this is probably going to be maybe like 70, well, a little less than that, maybe $60, $70 in profit. That was pretty, I was pleasantly surprised by the books that I found, that's for sure. Michael says, I actually volunteered at my local friend's library to help sort incoming donations. Do it. Not only will you get first crack at great books for the sale, but you will make many connections. I'm curious, Michael, did they let you scan books? How did that work? Let me know. Glad to see you're staying with Scoutly. I am. Terry, I love those books for teachers. I've had great success with them. Yeah. Teachers are big supporters of libraries, whether traditional or little free libraries. So my guess is that you'll find great teacher resource books all the time at little free libraries. Yeah. Absolutely. So that was a nice haul. I'm gonna get some more together. Hopefully I'll get some more together so I can get together a decent sized shipment. I mean, I could send just those out and that's a nice profit, but I like to send out a little bit more than that to see, to save on the shipping and that type of thing. So yeah, so I think that little free libraries are great for the community. I saw some articles people were complaining about them, which is so weird. Um, wow. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to read them, but I saw one guy posting on his personal blog about complaining about little free libraries because they might jeopardize actual libraries and get defunded or something crazy like that. It's just weird to me, the issues that people create out of thin air. I mean, these are small little libraries, little free libraries that most people don't even know about. To be honest, they maybe heard of them, but it's not like they're constantly going to visit them or anything like that. But anyway, I mean, think about it: 100,000 across 100 countries. It's not like it's having an impact, but it's not so big to where people are like, oh no, we should close the libraries down. Uh, that's a good one. Someone needs here. Oopsie. Someone needs to start Little Free Jukebox with CDs. I thought, it's funny though. I thought about that in the same vein. Um, so Michael, I'm curious. Michael said I eyeball the books at a library book sale, and I'm 90% correct. Plus, I get a discounted price compared to book sale. So, do you not tell them you're a bookseller? I'm curious. And you just eyeball them and just buy them in that way. So they don't know that you're a bookseller. Let me know. I'd be curious to know. But yeah, little free jukebox. That's actually a good idea. Sometimes you get to sort solo, and when that happens, I break out. Oh, I see. So they don't know. I don't think. Um, I was thinking about that with CDs and other stuff because books, you figure people don't place that much value on books clearly. So they put out valuable books, right? Most people, that own books like that, they've already bought them, they've used them, they don't think about reselling them. They don't know how to do it, they don't want to do it, so that's why they give them away. But there's a general lack of value placed on books. I mean, monetary value, not there's a lot of value placed on them clearly for learning, education, literacy, um, spreading, getting to know people through books and book clubs and sharing books and that type of thing. But in terms of monetary value, there's not a lot placed on them, and people don't realize you can make a little to a lot of money reselling books. Definitely a side part-time income or a full-time income. They don't know that, but or a lot of people don't. But I think there's maybe more value placed on something like CDs or DVDs. And if you were to do like you said, what did you call it? Uh, uh, Little free jukebox. That my assumption is people, although CDs probably not, DVDs people might be not stealing them, but might be more into grabbing all of them or whatever. But CDs, it's probably less likely that if you were to have here's my my little free jukebox or whatever, and you can come take a CD, leave a CD. There's also the looked at a different way. Whereas with books, you're learning, you can leave books for kids, but CDs is just music. It's not, it's pleasurable, it's enjoyable, it's great. Everybody loves music, but it's probably going to be looked at in a different way and wouldn't spread like a little free library. But it's a great idea. I mean, you could be the first person to start a little free jukebox, which I think is a great idea. Good name. And you never know what happens. You can advertise it, you can promote it, and say, hey, looking for some CDs? I got a bunch over here. If you have extra CDs that you don't want to deal with, come and drop them off. And you can fit way more CDs in one of these little containers than you can books, that's for sure. Okay, Michael says, correct. Pick a library in an affluent area and offer to volunteer. COVID unfortunately put this on hold, but libraries will start to reopen in late June. They need volunteers. Do you think, Michael? That's a good idea, though. They always need volunteers. I agree. Do you think, Michael, if they found out that you were a reseller, either you just told them, or they saw you scanning, or they asked, or whatever, do you think they would say, "Oh no, we don't want you having access to the books before the sale," or "We don't want you to volunteer"? I wonder. Uh, yeah, I might consider doing it if I could find someone to design the container. Yeah, maybe you could find a an old jukebox, or like yeah, you never know. Or you can make one or have one made. A carpenter could do it, if you're willing to spend, I don't know, a couple $100 or something. But oh, that's also what I was gonna say is consider putting your own little free library in front of your house. I read that someone had one in an apartment complex, or I don't know if it was an apartment complex or like a townhouse complex. It was some sort of complex. I don't know if it was apartments, townhouses, what are they called, townhomes or whatever, or condos, but that somebody had some in that type of like gated community situation. So I have been talking about it for a while, or thinking about it, but I thought about it before I got the warehouse space. I thought, oh, maybe I should start a little free library like the woman is doing, and then I can get books donated to me. But I would probably rather do it on a smaller scale, or have a big, like a little free library that's a little bigger so it can hold more books. And it's a great way, to meet people, to spread the word, you as a bookseller, to say, oh yeah, I started this. I'm a bookseller anyway, so I love books. I sell books all the time, but I just wanted to, open this up to the community so people could come by and get books for free. And I always have lots of books that I can add, and you can probably get some good books that way. Terry says my largest local library holds out all the good ones to sell on eBay. The director told me so. I never go to their sales anymore. Oh, yeah. Ah, he says, Michael says I paid a lot in book purchases and they love it. I just tell them that I'm a voracious book reader hoarder. Yeah, which is partially true. No, absolutely. I'm a big reader too. I have a big personal library. And I just finished a book last week, and I'm going to start a new one. I read Zaytoon. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. But anyway, about this guy who lived in New Orleans, owned a construction company, and during Hurricane Katrina stayed back and helped a lot of people, and then ended up being arrested by the police. But anyway, it was a great read. Yeah, no, I've never volunteered at a library. The city that I live in, so the city I live in is more affluent, and the library has a library sale, and they have a Friends of the Library, and they have a whole big section for books that they sell, and I've bought books there for resale. But the last time I went there, which was a while ago, to the Friends of the Library section, I couldn't find any books to resell. So either it was hit hard by other resellers, and I've seen other resellers scanning there, or they've started selling online or picking out the books that are valuable. And it's a college town, so there's a lot of scholarly books that end up there, school-related books. So there's potential, for finding great books. But their their library sale, they charge so much money for the books. I went one time that it was just crazy, and they would write like, oh, online, online $80, only $40 here, or $30 here, and it was like, I don't even know where they're pulling these prices. I looked up some of them, and I was like, what are they talking about? This book doesn't go for $80 online. So anyway, I don't know if I would volunteer there, but yeah, I mean, I think it could be worth it, and it would feel good. I mean, to volunteer and help out a little bit, while at the same time having access to a lot of the books before they would open. And I'm an OCD person. I like to organize, so that's always a pleasurable process for me. But yeah, I have considered getting a little free library in front of our house, but to figure out exactly where to put it. But I think it's a good idea. If I were to do it, I'd want to do it in a way like maybe have a bigger one so I can fit more books, not the tiny one. Maybe put a little bench out there or something. One of them that I went to yesterday, they had the normal size little free library, and then below it they had a little container for chew toys for dogs. They said, take a ball, have a ball. And then they had a little container of water for dogs to drink out of. So people kind of go all out with that stuff. You can add little additions to it and whatever you want. Um, yeah, it's true. I know the same thing when you have non-resellers look up the value of something, they don't understand comps. Yeah, yeah. The bookstore that I'm in talks of potentially running, when I visited it several weeks ago, I looked at some of the books and they were just, I don't know what the previous owner, the guy who had died a few years ago, why he was pricing things so high. But I looked up some of the stuff that was priced high on eBay, and his prices were much higher than what they were being sold for on eBay. So I don't know. Even booksellers can overprice things. Uh, but as online booksellers, we know what things are going for. We can quickly figure that out. And we're all about the realistic prices, right? Now, a bookstore or even some library sales can potentially sell things for more money because people want to support them, right? There is, so it just depends on how you set yourself up, right? The my local library sale, people are definitely going. People are definitely spending money. People have money to spend, and they feel good about supporting the library, and continuing to have these sales and continuing to enable people to volunteer and put up books that are out there all the time for people to buy for really inexpensive, a dollar, $2, $3, maybe $4 at most. So it makes people warm and fuzzy inside, as it should, and they're willing to spend more money on a book that they don't care. They're not gonna look online. They're just like, oh, that looks neat. Let me spend $30 on that book. And it may be a great book. And maybe brand new, it was $40, $50. I don't know. But yeah, so it just depends on the situation. So anyway, I really enjoyed this stream, guys. This was fun talking about little free libraries. I hadn't even thought about talking about it. I'm glad that I made that run yesterday with my daughter so that I had a lot to add to the conversation, and I had personal experience with it, so that I could tell you about what my experience was like with it. And now I'm kind of excited about it, not just because I can profit financially, but because I can contribute to the whole community of distributing books to more people, and the goodwill, right? It's it's nice to be able to, me having access to books, a lot of books, or getting books in my possession that I can't always sell. There's just other avenues beyond just me selling them online or even locally in my monthly sale. The more books I can distribute, the better I feel. I think the better it is for the community, and for people to just have access. So uh, I think it's a great thing to do. I highly recommend it as part of your reselling business plan, but also as a way to distribute books. So to free you of extra books that you have sitting around that you don't know what to do with, or that you have to eventually maybe donate to a thrift store or recycle or whatever, you can just drop in a couple of little free libraries. So I recommend, going, visiting maybe once a month or something, figuring out where they are. And over time, you never know. You'll probably build some relationships and get to know some people. And people will get to know you and say, oh, yeah, he's a bookseller. He's always leaving lots of books. So that's a good thing. The more people know about what you do, the better. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to get out of here. And I hope you guys have a great Sunday.
Flippin' life, flippin' life, flippin' life, flippin' life. We're gonna strive, we're here to learn and gonna earn. Flippin' life, flippin' life, flippin' life, we're flippin' life.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Michael asked, do you still get requests on your Facebook page for book pickups? Not really directly on my page. It's usually if I'm running an ad, and my ad just finished on Friday, so I don't usually get requests outside of that. I don't think have I ever. No, it's usually I have to be running an ad in order for that to happen. But yeah, no, the Facebook page is mostly once somebody's following me and either they've already donated to me, thank you, Brian, or they just followed the page because they want to come to my sale. Usually I don't get contacted that way, but it's either when I'm running an ad or maybe when they come up to my sale, I will. They might ask me. I've been asked quite a few times about whether I accept donations. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Please give a thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe to my channel. And I will have another show tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific time during these quarantine times. So please we'll have a great Sunday. Maybe go visit some little free libraries if nothing else is open. Maybe do some listing, whatever. Hopefully your sales are going well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay safe. Take care.